To celebrate the bicentennial of the Battle of York tomorrow. It includes the largest military parade since World War II and a special event where Prince Phillip presents a new regimental colour. It's a chance for Canadians to witness and to participate in the commemoration of a historic event. Joining me now from our downtown Toronto studios, Commander Tim O'Leary, Commanding Officer of the HMCS York. And with me in studio, Major Kristopher Reeves, Deputy Commanding Officer of the 3rd Battalion of the Royal Canadian Regiment. Thanks for joining me, both of you.
Erica.
Thank you, Sarah.
Major, let's start with you. Tell us about Prince Philip's visit. What will he be doing here exactly?
Well, Prince Philip's our Colonel-in-Chief for our regiment. A member of the royal family is always filling that role. He's going to come present us our new regimental color, as you mentioned. It's kind of a flag, but it's sacred to us. It has all our battle honors, and it really represents all of our traditions and the esprit de corps of our regiment. It's very old, but it does age out, so to speak. So every 40 or 50 years, we lay up the old color in a place like a church, and we're presented with a new one.
Quite an exciting time, isn't it?
Very exciting.
Commander O'Leary, the Navy will be leading the parade along with a great band. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, Sarah. After our friends in the 3rd Battalion of the Royal Canadian Regiment are finished with the Prince, 1,700 sailors and soldiers are going to march from Queen's Park, down University, across Richmond, down Bathurst to Old Fort York to commemorate 200 years of service in Toronto. In addition to our comrades in arms from the 3rd Battalion, many of these will be reservists, so people that you pass on the street or know as doctors, dentists, lawyers, but in their spare time are in the infantry or divers in the Navy or any one of a number of trades. So it's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, Major, tell us about some of the Army displays that will take place at the Ontario Legislature.
That's a good point. We had trouble getting any warships down University Avenue, so we're going to focus on the Army at the very beginning.
Right.
At 9 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to have paratroopers free-falling out of an aircraft at about 8,000 feet.
Wow.
I have several of our soldiers are going to be rappelling off the provincial buildings, Whitney Tower, Frost, for those from Toronto that know those buildings. A lot of weapon systems will be deployed. The Prince is going to be able to interact with his troops because that's what he really likes to do. Member of royalty, but he likes to get in with the guys.
He really does.
The men and women of the Canadian Army. So he's going to be able to do that. And folks like our families from Petawawa that are going to come down and view it are going to see all of our display out there.
And the good thing is the weather's going to be great.
It's supposed to be terrific, and I need no winds tomorrow so that the jumpers can make it to the drop zone.
Don't talk to me about that. We'll have to talk about our weather guy. But Commander, tell us about the sort of boat that will be on display that the Navy uses for scuba diving teams.
Yeah, as the Major said, I can't portage a submarine up to Old Fort York, so our display is going to be considerably smaller. But we will have gear up there for our divers, people that are pharmacists or postmen in their daytime jobs, and then we've trained them to dispose of bombs underwater, so you'll see some of the gear that they have.
This really is a chance to honor the men and women who serve our country in uniform. Can you tell us what's sort of the significance about this anniversary? Commander, let's start with you.
Well, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, sailors find marching a fairly inelegant way to get from point A to point B, but 300 of us are going to do it because it's important that our families and our city see that for 200 years, a lot of people have given a lot of themselves all over the world and right here at home to keep both Toronto and Canada safe. So this is a way to publicly display that.
Well, we are a national regiment, one of Canada's 3 regular force infantry regiments, but our connection to Toronto is quite long. Our first company was stood up here in 1883, and in fact, our first colors that looked a lot like the ones we're going to get tomorrow were given to us in 1901, except we only had 4 battle honors in 1901, and now we have 25. So there's 130 years of history there.
Major, can you also tell us a bit more and remind us of the Battle of York?
Well, in the Battle of York, you know, it didn't go that well. But overall, for here in 1812, a lot did. And you know, the Royal Canadian Regiment is the oldest regiment we have in the Canadian Army, and our lineage goes back to when Canadians defended our border. And so that's our connection.
Commander, what do you have to say about that?
It's actually interesting that when the Americans invaded York, their specific goal was to capture a ship called HMS Isaac Brock that was being built at the foot of Jarvis Street. So there's that naval linkage in between today's Royal Canadian Navy and the men and women of the Provincial Marine and the Royal Navy that fought the War of 1812 on the Great Lakes and up and down the eastern seaboard.
So looking forward to Prince Philip arriving into these great celebrations and a time for us to remember. Thanks so much, both of you, for joining us.
Thank you.